In the year 325, a man who had not yet been baptized called 300 bishops to a city in modern-day Turkey and told them to decide what God meant. His name was Constantine. He had just become the sole ruler of the Roman Empire. He needed a unified religion to hold together a fractured civilization. Christianity was growing, maybe 10% of the population, but its followers couldn't agree on the most basic question: who was Jesus? Was he God? Was he created by God? Was he the same substance as God, or similar but lesser? The bishops had been excommunicating each other over this question for decades. Constantine didn't care about the theology, he cared about the empire. What happened at Nicaea was not a theological debate, it was a corporate merger. Constantine paid for everything: travel, lodging, food. He presided over the debates personally, an emperor sitting in judgment of bishops. When the arguments ended, he endorsed the winning position and made it state law. The result was the Nicene Creed, a statement of belief that every Christian would be required to affirm. Those who refused were exiled. Their property was confiscated. Their books were destroyed. This is the mechanism. Once a doctrine was declared ecumenical, universal non-compliance became heresy, and heresy was no longer a theological disagreement. It was a crime against the state. But here's what most people don't know. The Council of Nicaea did not formally decide which books belonged in the Bible. That's a popular myth. The actual biblical canon developed gradually over the next century through regional councils, individual bishops' lists, and the slow machinery of institutional consensus. What Nicaea did was something more fundamental. It established the principle that religious truth could be defined by political authority. It created the infrastructure for suppression. In the ancient world, a book existed only as long as someone was willing to copy it by hand. There were no printing presses, no digital archives. Every text survived only through continuous human effort. To suppress a book, you didn't need to burn every copy. You just had to stop copying it. Step 1, label it apocryphal, which meant it couldn't be read aloud in churches. Step 2, exclude it from the approved scriptorium lists so monks wouldn't copy it. Step 3, wait. Within a few generations, a widely read text could effectively cease to exist. Not burned, not banned, just not copied. This is how the Book of Enoch vanished from Western Christianity. Enoch was a problem for the emerging institutional church. Not because it was wrong, the New Testament itself quotes it. Jude, chapter 1, verses 14 through 15, directly cites Enoch chapter 1, verse 9. It was considered authoritative by the earliest Christians. But Enoch described things the institutional church couldn't control. It described the architecture of the heavens in precise detail. It described beings who operated independently of God's hierarchy. It described humanity receiving knowledge directly without priestly mediation. You can't build a hierarchical church where priests control access to God if the congregation has a text that describes direct access to cosmic knowledge. Enoch had to go. Enoch wasn't alone. The institutional church suppressed dozens of texts over 3 centuries, and the pattern of what was removed tells you exactly what the institution feared. The Gospel of Thomas, 114 sayings of Jesus with no narrative, no birth story, no resurrection account, just direct teachings. It's crime. It suggested anyone could receive revelation directly without the church as intermediary. The Gospel of Mary. Mary Magdalene as primary witness and teacher. Its crime, female spiritual authority in a system building male-only apostolic succession. The Gospel of Judas. Judas reframed as Jesus' most trusted disciple, chosen to perform the necessary betrayal. Its crime, it contradicted the single authorized narrative. The pattern across all suppressed texts is consistent. They were removed for offering competing authority models, direct access to knowledge, female leadership, alternative interpretations, anything that threatened the monopoly on truth. And here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. These texts survived only because someone hid them. The Nag Hammadi Library, 13 codices of suppressed gospels, was buried in Egypt in the 4th century, presumably by someone who knew the destruction orders were coming. The Dead Sea Scrolls were sealed in caves at Qumran around the same period. Someone, somewhere, decided these texts were worth hiding rather than surrendering to institutional destruction. Let me show you the pattern one more time, because it's the same pattern every time. 300 BCE, the Watchers give humanity advanced knowledge. The result is catastrophic. The knowledge is deemed too dangerous. A reset occurs. The surviving record, the Book of Enoch, is eventually seized by religious authority and suppressed for 1600 years. 1901, Nikola Tesla develops wireless energy transmission. J.P. Morgan cuts the funding. You can't meter free energy. When Tesla dies in 1943, the FBI seizes his papers. They remain classified. 2016 through 2021, a Navy researcher files patents for electromagnetic propulsion, spacetime modification, and room temperature superconductors. The patents are public. The technology behind them is classified. The mechanism never changes. Only the authority does. First it was priests, then it was bankers, now it's governments. The knowledge is always given, the knowledge is always taken, and the recovery always takes longer than it should. J.P. Morgan couldn't meter Tesla's electricity. The church couldn't meter Enoch's knowledge of the heavens. The common thread is control. If you can't control access to knowledge, you can't control the people who have it. But the texts that were hidden at Nag Hammadi, at Qumran, in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, they survived. And in 1947, someone opened a cave near the Dead Sea and found them. What they found, and what happened to those scrolls for the next 44 years, is the subject of the next episode. Voice, BM George, controlled intensity, not anger, precision. Speed, 0. 9 segments, 5 cold open, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, S3E4 SS Nicaea Hall. JPG, Grand Marble Hall, 300 robed figures, Imperial Throne at Head S3E4 SS Constantine Portrait. JPG, Stylized Emperor, Laurel Crown, Political Calculation S3E4 SS Monk Scriptorium. JPG, Candlelit Copying Room, Monk pausing, scrolls set aside S3E4 SS Scroll crumbling. JPG, parchment disintegrating over centuries. Time-lapse feel S3E4 SS Jude Enoch comparison. JPG, side-by-side text, nearly identical language highlighted S3E4 SS 3 pillars cracking. JPG, authority, control, doctrine crumbling S3E4 SS suppressed text grid. JPG, case files of vanished gospels, institutional typography, S3E4 SS Nag Hammadi burial. JPG, someone burying codices in Egyptian desert, urgency S3E4 SS 3 column pattern. JPG, ancient/modern/now comparison, identical structure S3E4 SS cave entrance. JPG, dark cave opening, scrolls visible inside, light entering tension throughout. Low strings, institutional weight. Act 2, near silence during how to make a book disappear, let it land. Act 3, rising urgency as suppressed texts are listed. Act 4, S2's keys to unravel theme returns for the pattern reveal 1. A man who had not yet been baptized called 300 bishops to decide what God meant. 000-022. To suppress a book, you didn't need to burn every copy, you just had to stop copying it. 330-353. The New Testament quotes Enoch, they removed it anyway. 500-524. First it was priests, then bankers, now governments. The mechanism never changes. 745-810-5. Someone buried these texts rather than surrender them to destruction. 640-700.